What is up, guys? This is Rob, and welcome back to Rule of Two Review, where tonight, Kojima, Del Toro, Silent Hill. And yes, that is exactly how I feel right now after reading this amazing revelatory news about a new Silent Hill game and the people behind it. Let me tell you guys a story, a crazy, crazy story, where today I came home from work and I started flipping through the internet and all the news from Gamescom today, just like a normal person, not thinking much of it, trying to kind of determine maybe which news stories I wanted to talk about or what I thought was really cool information and what was getting me excited, what was worth maybe making a video about. And then all of a sudden, I scroll down to read the title that says New Silent Hill by Hideo Kojima, Guillermo del freaking Toro, and featuring Norman Reedus from The Walking Dead. Basically, in that one singular moment, my testicles, face, and head completely exploded. So, in trying not to oversell exactly how I feel about this, it's pretty safe to say I am beyond excited. Again, on Rule of Two Review, I really haven't had many reasons to talk about my real kind of love and appreciation for really good horror games, and most especially the Silent Hill series. It's a very special series to me. I've spent a lot of time with it. Silent Hill Shattered Memories and Silent Hill 2 are probably two of the very, 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 very best games I've ever personally played. They are perfect examples of the horror genre in gaming and how to mess with you psychologically and emotionally. And they both achieve it in spades. It's insane. And honestly, even the other games in the series still have achieved some pretty monumental feats. I mean, it is terror on such a cerebral level that even the other best kind of horror games in the gaming worlds, even, the likes of, the almighty Resident Evil and things like Condemned and whatnot, even when good, they're not Silent Hill. Nothing is Silent Hill, because everything else may resort solely to the jump scares and the gore scare, which is fine and has its place, and I love that stuff, but Silent Hill does something completely different. It literally bores itself inside of your consciousness and your psyche and your mental stability and just goes nuts with it. It just devastates you, especially when it's done extremely well. That's kind of a funny topic when you really look back at the entire catalog of Silent Hill games, because the really regrettable fact is that there's quite a few games that in the Silent Hill series that also are not very good, and some of them are even really quantifiably bad, and it's such a shame. But the ones that are good are totally, totally worthwhile. Okay, so I have to be careful because honestly, there are a ton of different aspects that I want to go with this. There's a lot of good things to talk about, a lot of excitement, plenty of angles to approach this from, and they're all really good. So I'm kind of struggling to pick exactly which one I think is the most important or which ones I want to talk about, just because I'm such a rabid fan, and this news I just simply didn't see coming. I mean, let's start with that. I had no idea that we were ever going to get a Silent Hill game, at least in the next many, many years. The most recent game in the series, Silent Hill Downpour, was a game that I wanted to believe beyond all reasonable faith was actually going to be good despite the bad reviews. And I bought and played it, and it was not good. I will admit the first hour or so actually was pretty good, and I was feeling okay about it. But man, it hit a brick wall pretty early, and it just went downhill from there. It was just, they should have called it Silent Hill Downhill. See what I did there? Anyway, Downpour it just wasn't a good game. It wasn't a good Silent Hill game, and it wasn't a good game. And that is really too bad. But again, so going back to the idea of this announcement tonight, I mean, honestly, I never would have thought that, and anyone, let alone these people behind it. You can hear me struggling to get my sentences out. I'm really sorry. I just read this news, watched the demo and stuff that's available online, and came up here to start recording because just hot damn, I'm so filled with excitement. The thing is, based on Downpour and what I had heard after that game, because of its, poor critical reception and poor sales, that, not necessarily that Silent Hill was dead, but really don't expect to see it for a long time. And I had all but written it off. I brought it up on a couple of videos previously, and, some of my thoughts and wishes for it. And it's really funny because I actually named it as one of my top 5 games I wanted to be surprise announced at E3. That didn't happen. Fast forward 2 months, and here we are at Gamescom, and it was announced at Gamescom. So my wishes were more than half answered as far as I'm concerned. It feels great to see this. But like I said, I just never thought we were going to get, I shouldn't say never, I just didn't see a Silent Hill announcement coming this soon. I thought it was way in the back of the minds of gamers and of developers in the industry. So I was like, well, that's just what it is. No more Silent Hill, maybe for a long time, maybe ever. And it's really, really tragic. And then, of course, not only the fact that we got an announcement of a new game, but the fact that it is made by Hideo Kojima of Konami and Metal Gear fame. and Metal Gear Solid fame, and Guillermo del goddamn Toro, the man himself, one of the best filmmakers and directors in Hollywood, who really knows his scary stuff, really knows his makeup, really knows his monsters, and really knows his ambience, tone, and storytelling. He is going to knock Silent Hill into the next millennium of badassery. I just can't even believe it. And Hideo Kojima, as far as his wacky gameplay elements and storytelling elements go, as somebody who's been making games in this industry for, I think, over 20 years, I mean, the combination of this duo is orgasmic, most especially for Silent Hill. That's the thing, is it's like the stars aligned in a way that I don't think anyone could possibly who could ask for, especially for a Silent Hill fan, to make this happen. It almost seems not real. It feels surreal to talk about it like it's a real thing, and to have just witnessed some people playing it online, I can't even grasp the fact that this is coming. And the idea of who's making it kind of goes a step further, too, because one of the things that I had mentioned on my previous video when talking about my wishes for Silent Hill is after playing The Last of Us, all I could think of was Silent Hill. I felt like the way that they created that world, even though, yes, The Last of Us was scary, but it was certainly scary in a very different way than what the Silent Hill games are going for. As far as the way the world felt, very organic and natural, very, very ambient and atmospheric. And like quiet in the right kind of subtle ways, and still scary because you did have clickers and runners and stuff to deal with, that were like scary monsters. I saw the seeds being planted of, this is the team to take Silent Hill and make it awesome again. If not make the best Silent Hill game and the best scary game ever made. I thought that was just the perfect dream team combination. I, of course, never saw it happening, but it was one of those, like, ultimate wishes. If I could have any one gaming wish granted, that would be one of the 2 or 3 I would really probably want to pick, would be for Naughty Dog to make a brand new next-gen Silent Hill game. So what we've gotten is, I don't know if it's better or worse or just as good but different, but it's basically high-profile people tackling this series, and that's really what I wanted, because another kind of low-budget studio, and like honestly, Team Silent became a shell of its former self. So the folks involved with Silent Hill through Konami, the last couple of games, really just weren't cutting it. They were just, they weren't making the big budget games. They lost the focus of what Silent Hill was. They forgot how to make a game scary and a story good. But when you combine Kojima, a veteran of game development for 20 years, and Del Toro, a veteran of the film industry for 30 years, it's just a match made in heaven. Oh my God. I still freak out when I think about it, you guys. Sorry. It's the best thing ever. It's just so cool. I just can't even believe it. Now I have to get into some other details. Let's get into the last kind of big high profile one. Norman Reedus, best known for playing Daryl on The Walking Dead, which is my absolute favorite television show on TV right now. Also, he was in Boondock Saints. People forget about that, but he was also in Boondock Saints. He's Daryl on The Walking Dead. He is apparently going to be what looks like the protagonist, and that is crazy awesome. I mean, it's weird because you don't normally think of recognizable Hollywood faces when you think of the Silent Hill experience and Silent Hill games, but I mean, that's okay. Just because he's frickin' Daryl and Norman Reedus, I'm just going to be okay with it and count it as another fucking boon for Silent Hill, the new Silent Hill. That's what we need. More badass people involved with this game. It's just like, this game could have been given to a box full of cockroaches and a 3-legged turtle. And I'd be like, oh my God, Silent Hill's back and it's going to be awesome because look at that 3-legged turtle. It's going to kick ass just because it's Silent Hill. So to have given it to Kojima, Del Toro, and have it featuring Norman Reedus, it's the greatest thing ever. Now, what I also need to talk about in moving forward here, let me see. I've touched on Naughty Dog. I've touched on Del Toro, Kojima, Norman Reedus, the announcement. I need to talk about the announcement trailer, and how the game was presented to us at Sony's conference at Gamescom this year. Okay, so as if getting the new Silent Hill announcement wasn't enough, as if also tacking on these 3 amazing people being involved with it isn't enough, they took it a step further and did probably the most unique reveal, trailer, and demo for a game announcement ever, because it was literally all 3 of those in one. It was a trailer that turned out to be a playable demo that turned out to be a surprise reveal for Silent Hill. as well as announcing, which 3 famous people are actually involved in it. I don't know if any of you guys have noticed this or been following the story of their update or really understand what they did to announce this game, so let me explain it. And also forgive me, because I was thinking that I was going to try to get some game capture footage of the trailer and stuff playing over this, but I decided against it because I kind of think that the surprise of how it plays out is worth it. And even though you would watch it in silent, hearing my voice over it, I still didn't want you to see it unless you went out of your way to see it, or if you actually downloaded it yourself. So that's the other key thing is, by the way, you can on your PlayStation 4 download for free and play this right now. So if you're listening to this and you have a PlayStation 4, get off of your ass, go download that shit and play it and love it and piss your pants with fear, because damn. Anyway, so what did they do with this trailer and the reveal? It's amazing. Basically, Sony revealed this trailer. They said there is a playable game, a playable teaser for this new game. It's something they were teasing recently by what turned out to be a fake studio, 7780. I think just 7780 Studio or 7780 Studios. That team. It turned out to not be a real studio because it was surprise Konami all along. So they say, hey, this is available. You should play it. This is a new horror game coming out for the PlayStation 4. They were just calling it PT. And so you download this playable teaser, quote unquote, and you start playing it, and you're in a house. And it's first person, by the way, so I'm going to touch on that as it relates to Silent Hill in a minute. It's first person, and you're just walking in a hallway. It's nighttime, but it's a brightly lit house and hallway, and there's a clock that's frozen. There's pictures, there's some broken glass and a teddy bear and stuff on the floor. And there's a couple of doors, and none of them are opening. And then you get to the end of a hall around a corner, and you can open that door. And that door basically takes you into a loop and restarts you from the same door you initially started at the end of the first hallway. So you're moving in this L shape where you're moving up, you're moving forward, and then you can make a right at the corner, and then you can go and past doors that you can't open, and then you get to a door at the end that when you go through takes you back towards that first hall. And so you're going in a loop. And of course, there's like radio sounds in the background, like a radio broadcast of something just sort of happening, and there's these pictures of families on tables, and it's just kind of this weird house at nighttime, and that's it. And you continue to go through it, and as you can imagine, this is where I'm not going to spoil it, but scarier and scarier things happen, and they're slowly doled out to you, and they're so subtle, and then they become more and more severe, and it's not just like, oh my god, it was quiet, now there's a big scary thing and you're fucking afraid. It's not that. It doesn't resort to that childish, immature bullshit. It doesn't need that to be scary because it's Silent Hill and it's so much better than that. It is above that. It is way too good for those kinds of things, even though with some games those things work, and I will enjoy those games. But again, Silent Hill, standards are way too high. None of that mediocre, freaking immature bullshit going on. That's not happening here. It's like way freakier, way cooler. There are gameplay videos of it online. I recommend going to find some, again, if you don't want to or can't download it for yourself, and you just kind of want to see what it is. Download it. Try to find a version of someone who's either it doesn't have any voiceover or is talking very little. The first one I watched had some people talking the entire time over it, and it kind of ruined the atmosphere, which is too bad. So if you can, watch it with no one talking if you want to actually see what it's like. So you basically go through this, and the really cool thing is it's a puzzle. And remember, most people doing this didn't know that it was going to be Silent Hill the first couple of hours that it was announced to go download this. No one knew what it was. They're like, oh, it's just a scary game demo. I'm just playing a demo. And they're going, it's getting scarier, and it's like a puzzle because, things start to get harder, and some doors open, some doors won't. Sometimes it resets, sometimes it won't, and you're like, what the hell, how do I get out? And there's a way to basically screw up how you're progressing through these hallways and effectively die, but there's also a way to solve whatever kind of secret mystery puzzle is actually happening, and you make the right moves and the right decisions, again, without fighting anything, and you will then, quote-unquote, beat it, and you will be exiting this building, and that is when there's a slow reveal outside of someone walking. It's a creepy town at night, and this man turns around, and you're like, oh my god, that's Daryl from Walking Dead, and then it says Kojima, and then it says Gray Fox Engine, and then it says Del Toro, and then it says Norman Reedus, and you're like, oh my god. And then at the very end, this guy walks away, everything turns white, and it says Silent Hill. And then they add an S to the hill, and they say Silent Hills, plural. What the fuck does that mean? No one knows, but that's pretty crazy. And it does, for anyone who's familiar with it, that very famous, it's like a Spanish guitar, like a twinkling, like, and it does that thing. I know it's silly, I just did that, but if you know Silent Hill, you know what I'm talking about. And like, I saw those words and I heard that music and I was just filled with shivers of joy, terror, sheer, unbelievable, unbridled terror, and also joy, because I was like, wow, like Silent Hill is back and these people mean that it's going to be really good, and everything I just watched in that demo was like insanely terrifying. I would have been really scared to play through it myself. If you watch someone play it, I bet you will say the same thing, like, wow, I'm glad I watched someone play it because I would have been too scared to play through it myself. But when it comes to the final game, I know that hopefully the story is going to be so good that nothing is going to be really preventing us from wanting to finish the game or at least play through a lot of it, because it's going to be unbelievably scary, but that's what the Silent Hill experience is. So great reveal. It was like earth-shattering for, I guess, horror fans and Silent Hill fans, or maybe even just for me. I don't know. To me, it's obviously a big deal if you can't tell by my extremely excited 15-minute video that I'm making here. So the last thing I want to touch on after how brilliant that whole thing was handled, I've never seen or heard of that. That definitely was breaking new ground as far as announcements. Really, really cool. Congrats to Konami. That was a really, really brilliant thing. Thank you for doing something that awesome and unique. And so I guess it kind of, there's two questions that there are to kind of ask from this. The first one, which isn't as important immediately, is what systems it's coming out on. Sony announced it, and the playable teaser, which by the way, that's what PT, the code name PT ended up standing for, was playable teaser. So the playable teaser was only available and is only available on the PlayStation 4. Sony was the company that announced it. So does that mean it's Sony exclusive, as in PS3 and PS4? Is it only PS4 exclusive? Or is it timed exclusive? Or is it not exclusive at all, but Sony just had the ability to announce it and put the demo on their platform first? But eventually Xbox Live and PC are going to get it, and eventually where it's going to be announced that maybe all the games are coming out at the same time. We don't know yet. That's a moot point. All that matters is that it exists, it's coming, and we know, if anything, the bare minimum is PlayStation 4 for sure. So we know it's coming to at least that platform. We know the frickin' game exists. That's all that matters. Now, the last thing, and then I'm actually going to wrap up this crazy excited video. Hopefully you guys have been able to withstand you'd think I've been drinking like 17 cups of coffee here at 10 o'clock at night, but I have not been. I just watched all that Silent Hill stuff and I'm just excited. So the last thing is, what could this game play like? How is it going to play out? It seems like they're telling us that you're going to play as a protagonist, just like all the previous ones. It seems like Norman Reedus is going to be the actor portraying the main guy that you're playing as through the game. That certainly seems to be the case. And then the gameplay, that's the big thing. So I have a theory, and that theory is based on the demo being all in first person as you're kind of walking through a house and studying it and trying to find clues and figure out a way to kind of deal with and overcome these cerebral-esque puzzles. I'm wondering what it reminded me of initially, and tell me if any Silent Hill fans out there would agree. It reminded me of Silent Hill 4, The Room, where you had those first-person moments where you were stuck inside of your hotel room. And it was just, awkwardly controlled, but still very effective first-person stuff. You're walking around, clues happen every time you leave to go to Silent Hill through a portal in your bathroom, and then come back. It's Silent Hill, just go with it. That's just how the game worked. And that was it was great because you would leave, go out in Silent Hill somewhere where the game would be in third person. You'd play through some parts, it'd be scary. You'd be fighting with a pipe. You're like, oh fuck, I'm gonna die. Oh, this is really scary. What do I do? Oh, there's a new portal. I'll go back to my hotel room and save and sleep and rest and do what I need to do there. And you come back and new things will have happened, sometimes really creepy things, and you can look out your windows and you can see your neighbors. You can look out your front peephole in your front door, which is the scariest thing I've ever done in a video game ever, by the way. And you can look at your neighbor through a peephole, and like your refrigerator changes and writing on the wall and really scary shit, really effective. Again, I keep overusing this word, but very cerebral kind of tricks being played on you. And based on that first person feel of this demo for the new Silent Hill they just showed, it reminded me of that. And it makes me wonder if they're going to do something. I kind of hope this, because what I don't really want is for the game to be entirely first person. That would probably be the number one thing I don't want to have happen. That is not how Silent Hill is. It wouldn't do well. That's trying to make it like every other freaking scary game the last couple years on PC and on consoles. It's all first person. It's all Condemned. It's all Outlast. It's all Dying Light. It's all this stuff. And even though some of those are probably really good games, that's not what Silent Hill is supposed to be. I don't want Silent Hill to borrow from other games of the last couple years. Oh no. Silent Hill is the trendsetter. Silent Hill does its own fucking thing, and everyone else either deals with it or they don't, but they will never be as scary or as good as Silent Hill when it's at its best. Again, Downpour, Homecoming, and stuff like those games don't count. But when it's at its best, no one can even touch it. Get the fuck away. You're not Silent Hill. That's the way that stuff is. So I really hope that they don't adopt this first-person mode for the entire game. But if they borrow from what they did with Silent Hill for The Room, I think that's great. I really liked how The Room played out. A lot of Silent Hill fans didn't really enjoy it. The game did not initially start out as a Silent Hill game. They turned it into a Silent Hill game mid-development. But I still think it turned out to be a great product, a scary game, and it felt like Silent Hill. They didn't really... It's not like it felt like, like a Gears of War game that just was called Silent Hill. No, it felt like Silent Hill, and it looked like it, and it sounded like it. So they achieved something really great and unique and changed up the formula with that whole first-person room mechanic. So either this game is going to borrow from that idea and make this game have some first-person sections and some third-person sections, which would be great if they'd handle it right. Or the game might unfortunately be entirely first-person. Or this might not have really a whole lot to do with the actual final product of gameplay, and it was just a really unique, creepy way to introduce you to what they're doing and to say, hey, there's a new Silent Hill game coming, and apparently there's a lot of hills in Silent Hill because there's going to be a couple Silent Hills. Very interesting idea. Silent Hill is, again, just a town. Just in case somebody doesn't know this, who maybe has never played a Silent Hill game, it's not about hills. It's about a town, and the town is called Silent Hill. So Silent Hills is really weird. I don't know what that's going to mean. It's a really exciting kind of weird because it's a great mystery. That's what we want is mystery. The whole games are predicated around mystery when you're playing them. So I like the idea of this reveal and the lead up to the game also being mysterious. What does it mean that it's Silent Hills plural? Who knows? Who freaking knows? But I don't know. I feel like I've probably gushed and, lost my freaking mind enough about this game. Really, really exciting. There's a couple... Honestly, Gamescom has been fantastic today. There's been nothing but good things. This was just a highlight that as I was kind of sifting through news and determining if and what I might want to talk about, I saw this, I read the article, watched the video, and said, fuck it, I got to record right here and now. I have to talk about this. I am this excited. So... yeah, I think I'm going to obviously wrap it up here. Those are my thoughts. That's my history with Silent Hill. That's what's going on with the current reveal, the surprise, the mystery. And those are some of my theories on where I think it could be going forward. Amazing, amazing news. I am thanking the gaming gods for bringing us this. Again, the Silent Hill could have been made by anyone, and I would have been excited, seriously. But to have it be announced by being made by the folks involved and the guys making it, I mean, just wow. It's like a birthday present that when you open it, it's just a winning lottery ticket that's worth $100 million. It's like, wow, not only was it a birthday present, it's also $100 million. That's kind of how I feel, as a Silent Hill fan. This is great, marvelous news. So I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to shut up about this game finally. What do you guys think? If you're Silent Hill fans, do you think this is great or do you not? If you haven't checked it out, go do everything I said, research this game and find out what's going on with it. Are you not a Silent Hill fan or are you not a fan of the horror genre? What do you think about Silent Hill as a series? What do you think about this new reveal? And the fact that Kojima and Del Toro are involved. Pretty cool stuff, I think, but what do you guys think? Okay, that's it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Long video today, I know, but a lot to talk about. One of my favorite game series. If you like what I'm doing and you stumbled upon this video, please feel free to follow and subscribe to Rule of Two Review. Helps me in the channel out big time. If you like the video, you should like and share it. Like I said, you should also share your comments and your thoughts about the new Silent Hill information below. Thank you so much for tuning in, and of course, I will catch you guys on the next video.